Level 0. Background radiation. This level is the foundation of life on Earth. You are standing at the peak of tranquility, far from any human-made structures, in the heart of nature. Yet even here, you are exposed to extremely faint radiation. Cosmic rays from space, particles released from the rocks and soil beneath your feet, and even from your own body due to the presence of potassium-40, these are all sources of this natural radioactivity. Its intensity ranges from 0.1 to 0.2 microsieverts per hour, accumulating to about 2.4 millisieverts per year. This level is so negligible, it has no significant biological effect, and is only detectable with highly sensitive instruments. This cosmic white noise is the invisible, harmless background in which all living beings are immersed. Level 1. Everyday exposure. Now you step into daily life, where normal activities slightly increase your radiation exposure, but it remains within a completely safe range. Eating a banana, due to potassium-40, taking a flight, living in a house made of natural materials like granite or brick, and even drinking tap water are all examples of this level. The dose received from these activities typically ranges from 1 to 10 microsieverts. The human body has fully adapted to processing and managing this level of exposure throughout its evolution. This level is a normal and unavoidable part of living in a modern world. Level 2, notable exposure. This level represents environments or situations where radiation exposure is clearly above the average background level, yet it is still considered safe for the general public. Examples include working in certain industries like oil well drilling due to naturally occurring materials in the soil, or being in poorly ventilated places where radon gas has accumulated. The dose at this level can reach 10 to 100 microsieverts. Although this amount is even less than a simple dental x-ray, its importance lies in the fact that regulatory bodies and oversight agencies measure and record it. This is the point where caution and monitoring begin, not because of immediate danger, but to ensure long-term safety. Level 3, managed exposure. This level is a threshold where radiation exposure is no longer just a statistical data point, but requires active management. This level of exposure typically occurs as a result of certain medical procedures, such as a full CT scan, or for nuclear industry workers during their routine duties. The dose received can range from several hundred microsieverts to a few millisieverts. At this level, the concept of cumulative dose becomes important. A single exposure at this level is usually not dangerous, but repeated exposure over time can become significant. For this reason, workers use personal dosimeters, and their doses are carefully tracked. Safety protocols are implemented to limit exposure time and require the use of protective equipment. Level 4, low-risk exposure. When radiation exposure reaches tens of millisieverts, we enter a level where, although a single short-term exposure is usually asymptomatic, it has the potential to cause biological effects. This dose can be received during a full PET scan or by workers in controlled environments handling radioactive sources. At this level, the body's DNA repair systems may come under strain, and with chronic, long-term exposure, there is a possibility of effects such as a decrease in white blood cell count or a very slight increase in long-term cancer risk. This is the boundary between safe and low risk, and strict adherence to radiation protection guidelines, such as using lead shields and time limits, is absolutely essential. Level 5, high exposure. Receiving a dose in the range of 100 to 500 millisieverts over a short period is no longer safe. This level can lead to the onset of early symptoms of acute radiation sickness, such as headaches, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting in some sensitive individuals. The body's hematopoietic system, bone marrow, is affected, which can result in a decrease in white and red blood cell counts. This amount is equivalent to receiving several CT scans in a single day and is not permitted under normal working conditions. Such exposures typically occur only in industrial accidents or emergency situations involving trained personnel. These individuals require immediate medical monitoring and face a probable increase in future cancer risk. Level 6, radiation sickness. Receiving 500 to 1,000 millisieverts, 0.5 to 1 sievert, in a short period causes clear and definite radiation sickness. Symptoms include nausea and vomiting within a few hours, headache, fever, and severe weakness. The body's immune system is severely weakened due to bone marrow damage, leaving the individual vulnerable to life-threatening infections. Temporary hair loss, alopecia, is also a common effect at this level. The chance of survival depends on the exact dose received, the individual's prior health, and most importantly, the speed and quality of medical treatment such as a bone marrow transplant. This level represents a serious medical emergency. Level 7, lethal exposure. A dose of 1 to 2 sieverts is highly lethal even with advanced medical treatment. Damage to the bone marrow and gastrointestinal tract is severe and irreversible. Symptoms include severe and persistent vomiting, bloody diarrhea, a sharp drop in blood cell counts, and internal bleeding. The body completely loses its ability to fight infections or repair damaged tissues. Death typically occurs within a few weeks due to organ failure, infection, or massive bleeding. Treatment at this stage is primarily palliative, aimed at alleviating the patient's suffering. This level of exposure has been reported in major nuclear accidents, such as Chernobyl, for some of the first responders. Level 8, certain lethal exposure. Doses between 3 and 6 sieverts are undeniably fatal. The damage is so rapid and extensive that even the most advanced treatments cannot prevent death. In addition to the complete destruction of the bone marrow and intestines, the central nervous system is also affected. The individual experiences seizures, severe tremors, and impaired consciousness. Death occurs much faster, typically within a few days. The mechanism of death can be a combination of multi-organ failure, circulatory shock, and direct damage to the nervous system. Such doses are only possible in the worst nuclear accidents or atomic explosions. Level 9, immediate death. Extremely high doses, above 10 sieverts, cause death within 48 hours or even less. At this level, damage to the brain and cardiovascular system is so rapid and severe that the individual experiences seizures, coma, and circulatory failure within minutes or hours. Gastrointestinal and hematopoietic symptoms do not even have time to manifest, as death occurs too quickly. This is not merely a theoretical scenario for humans. It has unfortunately been reported for some victims of incidents like Chernobyl, who were at the closest points to the reactor core. Treatment has no effect, and death is certain and immediate. Level 10, instantaneous effects. This is an entirely hypothetical and maximum level where radiation exposure is so intense, potentially tens or hundreds of sieverts, that its effects are literally instantaneous. The radiation simultaneously damages every cell in the body, causing an immediate shutdown of all biological systems. Consciousness is believed to vanish within a fraction of a second, and death occurs instantly, like flipping a switch. Such a scenario can only be imagined in cases of extremely close and direct exposure to an immensely powerful source, such as the core of a melting reactor, or at an extremely close range to the epicenter of a nuclear explosion. At this level, medical science has no role to play.